Hey, hey, welcome everybody to this week's episode of Cafecito. This is a fun episode today. I'm so excited to have Cecilia on this conversation that we just I've been having throughout the year, which is Latinos and wealth, specifically Latinas and investing and all that. So I'm excited for this topic. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to one of our members who made these earrings. They're my shout out to Hispanic Heritage Month, my little Frida Kahlo tassel earrings. So Ileana Guzman sent them to me. I got them from her shop, and I just wanted to share them. I was in the mood.
Trying to move my ceiling fans going on there. I'm so sorry for that distraction.
So check it out and support her. So yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking multifamily real estate investing. Cecilia, first, give us your little backstory.
So, hi everybody, I'm Cecilia Cossio. I am the CEO and founder of Next Gen Legacy. That's our umbrella brand for legacy real estate and asset management, legacy group, and legacy construction. So basically, we're a vertically integrated company that functions in all facets of real estate. I started out as a leasing agent 30 years ago. I say I was 10 when I started.
Yes. That sounds about right. Looking at you.
Yeah, I started out as a leasing agent, made my way up into a presidential role of a multifamily management company. I've had anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 units and 20 to 30 properties at one time. And we're talking multiple units, anywhere from 150 to 500 units per asset. And so I've been blessed with a phenomenal team throughout my life, and I'm truly grateful for all the opportunities they provided me, because they were so great that it allowed me to continue growing as well. And I'm a big believer in as I go up, I pull people up, and that's really what I want to do in this multifamily investing world, because I think that sometimes we are so scared of taking those risks, which is okay. I mean, you can, it's okay to be a little weary. You should always ask questions. But I think if you stay in your comfort zone, you're thinking too small. So what I've always told my teams is, whatever your dream is, amplify it by 100%, because it's not big enough. We like to stay comfortable in what we're doing. And so it's my goal to teach people to get out of that comfort zone. And multifamily just happens to be one of them, because it's, was my career path, right? So it's get into these deals and understand them. But for other investors that are just starting out, or those that haven't even purchased their first house, they're like, what is she talking about? Like, she wants us to go from, not even having our first home to buying multifamily. Multifamily is considered anything that's 4+ units. It's not, it's you're getting into a more than one single unit. So that's how I started, and that's where I'm at. And most recently, I was involved in a minority development cohort. So that is kind of my next path as well, is becoming a minority developer. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned two important things, that like it's the team, the learning, the people, that same atmosphere, and just the being a Latina, especially, just kind of going into that field and kind of just tapping into being a learner, absorbing information, and then taking risk, because what is life, if you don't take risks? There's one of my favorite quotes. I always have it on my computer, because I always love to read it to people. I won't read the whole thing, but it's like nature loves courage. We have to be bold. And nature is abundant by its very essence, right? An apple has multiple seeds in it. Everything is multiplied. And we, especially as a community, need to start breaking those barriers. And we are, pero more and more so, right? Is we adapting that. We got to take risks because nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So I love that you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in the real estate world, the majority of the executives are definitely not minority Latina women.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
So that in itself, I think was major for me. And I also tell people, step into your power. You know, I'm really good at coaching and consulting these kind of things, but sometimes I have to remind myself, and I have, again, I've had great teams that have said, hey, do you realize that, you know, the glass ceilings you're shattering? Because you don't, you know, you are raised to just go do this, and you know, you stay humble, you know,
Yep.
just, you know, go through these processes. And I think the last few years I've really been able to step into that greatness of, you know, understanding that failure will occur, but those stepping stones are, you know, pivotal to creating additional success. And I just think that teaching everybody and reminding everybody, like, you all are unique in your own way, and you all have the ability to do the things that I've done, or the things that you see somebody else is doing that, you know, you feel is maybe out of reach. Nothing is out of reach. It's just a matter of taking action to get there. And that is major. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that is major. It's I always say fear is not of God, you know. So I step into it, I lean into it. It's just been part of who I've always been. I was raised by some magnificent, wonderful grandparents that instilled so much into me that I feel like I owe it to the world to continue pouring that out into other people, other Latinas, other minorities, other women, people in general, right? Anybody that I see that needs, you know, some guidance or some coaching, and whatever it is, you know, I'm there. And if I can't help them, I always find somebody else who can, because I think that there's so much opportunity out there for everybody, that we gotta share it. We gotta be out there and let people know, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
I again, goes back to the multifamily.
Yep.
I had the ability in my roles, you know, I've had up to 100 people, 115 people that report under me or around me or to me, or, you know, I
Yep.
say I really worked for them, because my job was always to provide solutions to whatever situations were out there for them, right? So, but I feel like I had that ability to reach people in ways that, you know, maybe others don't. And so in multifamily, I'm not only dealing with my employees, but then we're dealing with, you know, thousands of people, because on your properties, you know, it's an average of 3 to 4 people, you know, per apartment. So imagine the reach that you have out there.
Yeah.
And it's also an industry that I feel minority women, and men. NAA just did a poll, and we, as Latinos, have, I believe it was about 25%. We make up about 25% of the workforce in the apartment industry. So
Wow.
it's major. On
Mm-hmm.
top of that, you know, most of the managers are managing multi-million dollar business plans. Okay. So, like, we're not talking about, you know, a small business plan. They are managing multi-million dollars worth of business plans.
Yeah.
And many of them don't have a college degree. This is where I tell them to step into their greatness, because when you have the ability to be relational and transactional, that is empowering. And when you
Yeah.
don't realize that power you have, you don't really understand your self-value, in that immediate position. So my job was always to provide that insight to our people. So,
Yeah.
But I want to get back into multifamily real estate investing, because I
Yes.
know
Yes.
we're going a different direction there.
Yep.
And
Yeah. So how do we get started? Like, tell us, first of all, again, I told you right before we got on, it's like, okay, there's just so much to it. So, how does one get started? Besides, we need to be able to and willing to take risks. What's that step, and when's the best time, I suppose, right? Or
today, right? Today's
yeah,
the best time, because
yeah,
we always say we're waiting, and you're going to stay waiting for a long time. And the great thing about real estate is it only appreciates unless you buy bad, right? So like
yeah,
that can happen. And I want to throw in a quick disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor or a legal
yeah,
advisor of any sort. So, I just got to throw that in there. But
yeah,
real estate typically appreciates. And the way you get into these deals is truly by saying, okay, what is it that I want to invest in? If
yeah,
you go to the social media groups, you'll find hundreds of different groups on investing.
yep,
Look for a group that is local to you, that you can actually, this is my recommendation, that you can actually go meet people in person before you give anybody any money. Okay, because people do make that mistake.
yeah,
But go find your local network of real estate investors, multifamily investors, and look for one that aligns with your goals, your mission, your what is it that is important to you, your values. And then
yeah,
you've got to really like understand what you're looking for yourself, with the understanding that you're not going to have all the clear answers when you start. So you get out there and you start networking. And I'm going to give you an example for myself. I was in the multifamily industry for 20 plus years before I started going out to these different events. I would go to conferences that were educational conferences in multifamily in my profession. But I actually one day stepped back and said, Cecilia, from the time that you were young, for reasons that I experienced when I was a child, I said I was going to buy real estate, and I was going to build real estate. And so a few years ago, I said, you said you were going to do this. What are you doing? You
yep,
have increased values of assets for other people by millions of dollars. From acquisition to disposition, they were able to sell it for that appreciated value because you and your teams increase the value of these assets. So why are you not doing this for yourself at this point? Enough excuses.
yeah,
So I went out
yep,
there. I started going to these different events, and I found a few, and that is how I actually got into my first deal. So it is, where are you financially? So there's a couple of things that you have to go through. And, I
yep,
jumped A to Z only because of the position that I had already been in. And I
yep,
had the ability to pay for these mentorships. But I advise people to be very mindful. I do believe you have to get into some mentorships, but there are some out there that are very affordable.
yes,
There's
yes. And there's some that are not always like, I don't know, like you don't go in, because I've been to several over the years, and some are just, you don't get, like you said, you have to find out where you fit in, because some are just like the vibe and the energy is not, or you see the sales pitch y solamente eso, so that there's a lot of those, right? But you're right, it's going to many of them and finding your team, your vibe, the people that you feel you're learning real good stuff from, and then verifying some of that information and doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And due diligence means that you're going to ask questions. You're going to find out what they've invested in. You're going to find out, like, what are the opportunities out there for you? And if people are approaching you and saying, hey, hi, my name's Cecilia, can you give me $50,000? A negative. That's not going to happen. But, you know, these are the things that you come across out there. So my first investment was through my 401k. So I had a friend that knew someone that was working on a deal, right? You would think that I would know all these people, and I do, but I never invested into them directly until I learned that I could take my 401k. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I did. I took my 401k and I invested it into a deal. And that has produced results. Now, I don't get to see that cash because it goes right back into my 401k. But I have also, put together, I have family members and each one of them had $5,000. So I took that $5,000 between five of us and I went and invested $25,000. And then I get like a 20% return. That's major. But you have to really be around people that help you understand all this. And I think that's the problem, is that we're taught to go buy a house, pay off your house. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. But leverage what you have available to you to continue investing in real estate.
Yeah.
That's what the wealthy do. And those are not things that we learn. And I say we, okay, I'm not trying to broad brush it, but the majority of our gente is like, haga la casa y ya no hagas nada más, but
Yeah.
you've got to continue creating this generational wealth you can create this generational wealth through real estate. And yesterday, I love what the lady said. And I asked one of the questions about the HELOC, because I wanted people to understand that it is a possibility. There's different ways to finance these different deals. If you go single family, or if you go multifamily, you can use different avenues to invest into these deals. When doing multifamily, you really should be part of an experienced team and get
like a REIT. So you're going in together, or
I don't do REITs. I go into either syndication groups or JV teams. So my first deal, I have over 1,000 units between my limited partnerships and my general partnership and my joint venture. So I have my first deal was with two others. One of the Latinas that I met at one of the masterminds that I was part of, and the other one at one of the educational conferences, investor conferences that we were part of. So we went and we bought a deal in San Antonio. It was 16 units and it was 1.2 million. So, what we're doing with that deal is we all went in, put in a little, each one of us put in money, and then now we will refinance that deal, and we'll either, continue refinancing it or reposition it for an exit strategy. That really just depends on where we are in, 3 to 5 years. I have been involved in 3 other deals. One was 13 million, the other was 8 million, and the other one was 14 million. And that one, we did it through a syndication team. And it really took a large team to raise money. And that is where I said you put in like $5,000 a piece, or $10,000 a piece, or you put in $50,000. It's whatever it is you have, or really come up with. Because look, when there's a will, there's a way. When you want to do it, you're going to out there and do it. But what I tell people is, don't expect to start at A and go all the way to Z right away. There is a learning curve in this. So
what's the difference between the syndication and the one you just did? Or
the syndication is a group of us, and we bring in a bunch of limited partners who invest into these deals. And those splits, the limited partners get 80% of the deal, and we are 20% of the deal. In both deals, I would tell you the tax advantages are music to my ears. If you want to learn more about the tax advantages, I I can tell you from a very high level from my experience, but I can also connect people to tax strategists who can explain how empowering investing in real estate is. Because when I tell you that I'm getting back very large tax returns based on my investments, that is like,
Yeah, that's music to our ears.
oh yeah.
That's great. That's great.
You
Rev said hi, Sandra and Cecilia. Somebody wants to, is that Diana, who's a member and she's a financial professional. She said she wants to learn more about you and what you're up to in todo eso. Pero you were saying the other one is like, and then the REIT, like, because a real, yes,
the
break
REIT
that down.
is a Wall Street, company. It goes through Wall Street, and you invest your money there. So that's a whole different level of investing.
You can't just start a REIT, right?
I mean, you could, but it's like much bigger than like what we do in the sense of, it's much bigger than what we do in the sense of like they're through Wall Street. We're all SEC. We all have to meet the SEC requirements. Okay. So you don't just give me your money and I'm like, can go loosey goosey with it. That's not how that works. I have to, we as a team are required to register through the SEC, and our deals are either 506B or 506C. 506B deals are for family and friends. And so we don't advertise those deals to everybody. 506C deals are to anybody. We can post that stuff on Facebook if we want, but we have to register through the SEC for those. So, and we have to be very careful on how we do things. So sometimes I see people posting stuff like, hey, I just got this deal. Who wants to invest? And I'm like,
like, famous people, like the major real estate players. So it's like, okay, put into this pot, and then every month you'll get certain things, a percentage or whatever, of the profits.
That's what it is, you guys, you can, I think my LinkedIn and my Instagram information is on my profile, but I am Cecilia Cossio, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm also nextgenlegacy.com, NEXGEN legacy.com, and CeciliaCossio.com. So if you guys want to connect with me, just reach out there, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you guys and give you any information that because I really believe that from a Latina standpoint, let me give y'all a stat. And this was something we looked up last year. There is less than 1% of minority women, and women are already minority, no matter the color. You're already a minority. You're a woman, 1% are investors in real estate. Less than 1% are investors in real estate. Well, I can tell you, I couldn't find a stat on Latina investors in real estate.
Because it's probably like 0.00.
I'm telling you, that's what we're saying. We're like, when we were doing this, we're like, I bet you women of color, like maybe 0.10, maybe 0.20. So like one of my missions is to continue pushing this out there.
Yeah.
We need to let people know this is very doable. You know, if it makes you feel better to start with a single family or start with a duplex. I always tell people, like, if you can get into a duplex, at least start with that, but hey, single family, I'll take whatever you can do. Just do something.
Yeah.
Because you have to start somewhere. And real estate is where the wealthiest make their money.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, for sure. I think and then like commercial real estate is a whole nother subject that maybe
another day.
Yes. But I love that multifamily. We, and I think more and more Latinas like are thinking about it and planning it and it's strategizing it, but still need the information. So maybe we could do a workshop with you también or something that just kind of helps, add to our
programs out there. You've got different banks that have different loan programs, that like community development initiative programs. There is a lot out there that we can utilize if we just knew about it.
Yep. Yep. We don't. Cecilia, this has been such a great conversation. I'm always like, I want to have like a master session right now, just writing down things and because this is important. And I think many of us want to begin that process and, you know, and not looking at it, like you said, as a home that you're going to live in forever, but looking at things from a different perspective of building wealth. So I may live here for a year, for the year that I need to, or a year and a half. And then what's next? How do I multiply? How do I get to that next property and build upon this? Because I mean, that is the path to wealth. One property is not going to do it. So
Right. Yeah. I
um,
used to, when I have 3 children, and my older kids, I used to kind of do that. I'd live in a house for 2 years and then I'd sell it and then I'd move. And, everybody's, well, why are you moving all the time? Because, I'm needing this money to buy the next house. And, as a single
yeah,
mom, you pay for private school and you got to figure things out, right? You got to make things
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And
You got to build portfolio.
right,
Mhm.
real estate has always been the thing for me that has been solid. So, I
That's
believe.
awesome. I love it. I love it. Cecilia, thank you so much for joining me for today's cafecito. It has been so enlightening and awakening for many. And we're excited. We want to learn more. You got us all hungry to like figure out, okay, what are the multiple ways we can do this and finance this and get all that done. And yeah, I think we need more education, right? Around people that we trust, that we know we're getting quality information from.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Give us one last thing to close us out, and then we'll sign off.
You are clothed in strength and dignity. Do not fear the future.
Amen to that. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys. Join us next week for the next cafecito, and we hope you have a blessed and amazing day. And think about your next property. All right. Take care, guys. Be well.
Bye.